My name is Huda Lutfi and I'm an artist based in Cairo. This is my fourth solo show at the Third Line in Dubai. Happy to be back during that period. This show shows a selection of works from three different series. The first series is entitled When Dreams Call for Silence, and the second series is Healing Devices, and the third series is Our Black Thread. I chose to show a selection of these series together because they reflect the direction that's going on in my work, in my practice as an artist. This work is entitled Silent Seeing, and it's part of the When Dreams Call for Silence. And silent seeing is a very important notion in this series, because I'm here just trying to communicate the idea that we can see things without commenting on them, without just enjoying seeing, and just silent seeing meaning enjoy the seeing process without any words or any judgment. That's why the focus here is just on the eyes. These two paintings are also part of the When Dreams Call for Silence. They reflect a lot, a kind of surrealistic perspective on existence and on life. In this painting in particular, which is the seesaw, it's the idea of how things are constantly changing in life and how we should accept that as a reality. In this series, it's a domestic scene in the bedroom, which is the most private space that in which one dreams about things. And of course, it's entitled Missing Shoe. So, the idea is for the viewer to wonder, what do I mean by missing shoe? Why there's one shoe, and why there are two pairs of legs without the body again. So it's a little bit nightmarish, like we do have nightmares in our dreams, and it reflects that. This work is it's very long compared to other pieces from the Dreams series, and it reflects the notion of procession. Procession here is movement from one space to another, maybe from the space of the known to the unknown, or maybe from the unknown to the known. It's the idea of moving from one state to another state. This piece is called Floating, and it's about dreaming about being unburdened with the responsibilities of life, with the worries of life, with the ties of life. And of course, once we are in such a kind of state, it feels like we're floating. So I wanted to express that. So this is my first experiment with threading process that I began. And it so happened that I had a stack of tea bags made out of organza fabric. And I liked the fabric very much, so I never threw it away. And then one day, I thought, okay, I want to experiment with thread. So these are the first piece, and it was like freeing the hand, to move as it likes. I wanted to feel an effortless process, of using thread. Also, I felt that, it was very important for me as an artist to work with form. We're creating form without intention, just free form, experimenting with free forms. This piece is a later work that I did for Our Black Thread series. I say later because when I started out the Black Thread series, I was not very confident with using the fabric and the needle and the thread. And so I did very small pieces. I have to pay tribute to my mother, who was a seamstress. And so as I grew up, I saw her very busy in her room, in her sewing room, working, cutting fabric, and of course using thread, whether it's on the machine or whether she was threading by hand. So as I grew more confident, I began to think of larger pieces. And so this is part of these larger pieces. I call them lines and knots. So perhaps because I thought that observing, how the mind works, and so, we go in a linear way, thoughts go in a linear way, and then suddenly you become stuck in a particular thought. And so I represent that with lines and knots. When one gets stuck, and then one thought gets bundled up, becomes very knotty. And also I call it entangled emotions as well. We decided to call this piece Precursors, and it's a very large series of using collage, but based on already painted paper. They were like paintings that I stacked because I didn't like. And I thought, okay, I would like to recycle them. Experiment with form again, so they're very close to the threading idea as well. Each one of them represents, a different form. Very spontaneous. I mean, again, they were not intentional. I cut out the painted paper, and then it's like a jigsaw puzzle. I keep moving them, shifting them around until I feel like there's a form that I like. Again, here in this series that I call Healing Devices, I play with recycling the old paintings that I have and which I don't like, and I cut out the pieces and so on. In this series, The Healing Devices, I was very much inspired by Ismail al-Jazari, who is a 12th century Arab Muslim scientist, designer, and polymath. And when I saw his manuscript with hundreds of illustrations, it was mind-blowing. It was during also the period of a lot of illnesses, the COVID period, and also my mother's illness. And I thought very much about healing. So I began, this series on handmade paper, just imagining, what a healing device should look like. It's again very spontaneous, so when I start the piece, I never know how it will end. It's like one step at a time, and then when I'm satisfied with the result, I feel like it's complete. During my mother's illness and before her illness, she began to dislike sewing because she was like 97 years old. But then during my weekly visits to her, she began doing almost like a miming. Her hands were moving as though she's sewing, but there was no thread and there was nothing, like she was just, her brain, I guess, was replicating or these movements she has used, while she was sewing. And I was very intrigued, by this kind of mental state. And I used my mobile camera to document these movements.